2.9.
Snap to Cooper. Looking down the field. He's got a man. Caught it. He's free. Phil Johnson at the 10. At the 5. Touchdown! 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 There are no flags. Touchdown pass on the final snap of the game. Jacksonville State has won it.
That was Mike Parris on Saturday night as Jacksonville State defeated Florida State. And Mike Parris, the voice of the Gamecocks, is joining us right now. Mike, how many times have you heard that so far?
997,933. No, I don't know. I've heard it a few times in the last few days. In fact, I got a call yesterday afternoon from a guy. He does the radio up at Tennessee State. They had a late game Saturday night. He said, I just want you to know you're the last thing I heard before I went to bed Saturday night. You were the first thing that I heard Sunday when I got up. He said, I heard you all day Sunday, and I heard you all day yesterday. And he said, I'm tired of hearing you. Would you just go away? And then he calls me this morning and says, hey, can you be on my show today? So, well, it's just one of those things, you know. It's been fortunate and very blessed to have been a part of it. And in fact, when John Gross called me Sunday afternoon, you know, we're all headed back home. He said, so what you been doing today? And I said, well, I've had a little bit going on, a couple of calls as I was driving back. And I said, I just want to thank you for another 15 seconds of fame in my life here before I die. So, oh, man, what a night. Incredible.
Well, I know, Mike, you've been part of Jacksonville State doing the football broadcast for a number of years. Of course, you were on the call when Jacksonville State beat Ole Miss back a few years ago now, and you got to watch them beat Florida State Saturday night. Just having been a part of Jacksonville State so long, what was that like watching your Gamecocks defeat a team like Florida State?
Well, I'll be honest. After getting beat 31-0 UAB, I didn't give us much of a chance going in Saturday. You're in those games, and look, we play Florida State 100 times. That's probably the only time we beat them because they're supposed to beat Jacksonville State. And we just hung around and had a chance to win in the fourth quarter. And even then, I really thought down to the last play. We needed 30 yards on a pass play, 6 seconds left to go. We did have one timeout. And I agree with the decision Coach Cross made and the staff. The fact I don't think we could have thrown the ball, caught it, completed a pass, and called a timeout and had it. I don't think we'd had enough time to do that to kick a field goal. So when Damon Phil Johnson catches the ball and then cuts back toward the field, toward the end zone, and I see the defender there, and I thought, well, this is not going to end well. I don't know why. Just in that moment, I thought immediately of the Rams and the Titans Super Bowl, where Tennessee Titans end up 1 yard away from winning the Super Bowl, because they got tackled. Final play of the game there. Kevin Dyson, I think, was a wide receiver that got tackled a yard out of the end zone, a couple of yards out, whatever. So just in that moment, I thought about that, and because I didn't think he was going to make it. Then Ahmad Edwards made the biggest block in the history of Jacksonville State football, probably, when he knocked the other defender off, and he got to the end zone. And from my standpoint, selfishly speaking, you just react. You can't plan for that. You just react. Your emotions take over, and then the next thing I thought after we got through all that, and I realized then you never told the final score in the midst of all that, and you just, it's just one of those things. You hope you don't, you just don't mess it up or screw it up there in that, in that time. So, that you mentioned Ole Miss. This one was, I don't know. Ole Miss was a different kind of game. First of all, I don't think that Ole Miss team was as good as this Florida State team. We trailed all day, really hadn't done anything till late in the third quarter. We're down 31-10, and then we kick a field goal right at the end of the third quarter. And then just, they couldn't stop us in the fourth quarter, and then we ended up going to double overtime to win it. So this is just my opinion. To me, this one is is probably bigger than beating Ole Miss. And I know Florida State now is not what we think of Florida State with all the success they've had with Bobby Bowden and then with Jimbo winning a national title there too. But to me, their success, their tradition over the last 40, 45 years at Florida State makes this one to me a little bigger than the one over Ole Miss in 2010.
We're talking with Mike Parris, the voice of the Jacksonville State Gamecocks, and going in, of course, Jacksonville State lost, like you mentioned, 31-0 to UAB. Florida State had a good one against Notre Dame in their first game. And so, a lot of folks weren't expecting the Gamecocks to be able to compete Saturday night. What did you see from Jacksonville State Saturday night that helped put them in that position to win?
I think we executed much better. We played better on offense. We played better on defense. Now, we did have penalties, but they had some penalties too. But I thought we played just much better on both sides of the football. We blocked better. I thought defensively, I didn't think defensively we played that bad against UAB. We broke some coverages and they got big plays out of them. We didn't do that against Florida State Saturday night. That was, and going into a game like that, that's one of the things you can't avoid. You can't have any mistakes. You have to avoid turnovers, and we did do that. We didn't turn the ball over, but you also can't give up explosive plays or big plays. I don't know how many UAB had, but they had several against us in that opening game. And we didn't allow Florida State any of those the other night. It comes down to the one play. I realize that. But you think back, we hold them on 4th down inside our 5-yard line and get the ball then. We go 97 yards on a touchdown drive, kick off, hold them again, get the ball back, and go 83 yards. Our last two possessions, we go 97 and 83 yards on the road at Bill Campbell Stadium against a Power 5 school to win the ball game. So you add all that up. We press conference earlier today, Stevante Tullis made a huge play. They had a 3rd and a yard inside our 5-yard line, and he wasn't supposed to shoot a gap, but the way the defense, the way the guys up in front of him, Jackson Luttrell from Westbrook Christian, one of those guys, and then Anthony Nesby, the nose man, the way they took on the blocks and pushed him out of the way, it gave him a gap to come through, and he tackles them for a 2-yard loss. He just recognized that, shot the gap, made the play, and then they throw an incomplete pass, and we take over, and then they didn't stop us, and then it's just so many things that have to fall into place to win a game like that, and our guys did that. They executed, and credit to them. We won the game then.
Well, it was exciting there Saturday night for the Jacksonville State Gamecocks, but there's still season left, and they enter a very important time now as ASUN conference play begins this Saturday night, home opener against North Alabama, and you've been doing this a while. North Alabama has been a rivalry game for the Gamecocks in the past, and now once again a conference game, and it's exciting to be back at home and for the first home game, especially after a win like Saturday night. But what are you looking for the Gamecocks against North Alabama Saturday?
Well, you're right. You grew up around here, so Troy was, going back a number of years, Troy was the biggest rival, but North Alabama, I think, was right there behind them. In fact, in their history, it is, I would say, probably we're their biggest rival. They played Jacksonville State more than any other opponent in their history. And North Alabama, I think, is the second most played opponent in Jacksonville State history. I think I got that out right. We played them, Troy the most, and the North Alabama the second most in the history of football in Jacksonville State. And, it's one of those games in state where guys have either played with each other or against each other in high school, and, they're getting ready to go against each other again. And to me, it's a situation that Florida State was in last week. They had that emotional game, did lose against Notre Dame, but played very well. And now here we are, Jacksonville State, emotional game and a win. And it's a state rival, in-state rival. So, they want to come in and win for bragging rights. But also I think the fact that we beat Florida State probably adds a little bit more for them wanting to come in here. And, hey, we'll beat somebody that beat Florida State. So, John Gross and his staff, the talk at the press conference today, can you jump back up? Or emotionally, will you be back up? Or you still going to be riding the Florida State win and just sort of walk out there and try to play? So I guess I'm headed to practice here in a little while. I guess that's one of the questions, to find out. The biggest question to me is getting back up and getting ready to play. And hard to do, but forget about beating a Florida State and now get ready to play North Alabama. It is nice to win a game like that, though, and get to come back home and play after winning a game like that.
Yeah, it is. And of course, you'll hear Jacksonville State and North Alabama Saturday night here on Fox Sports 102.9 from the Gamecocks Sports Network. Mike Parris joining us, voice of the Gamecocks. And Mike, we really appreciate your time with us this afternoon. I know you've been a very popular guy the last few days, so I appreciate you taking a few minutes with us this afternoon.
Chase, I appreciate it. Thank you. And I appreciate you guys over there and helping us out as far as carrying our ball games and help and in support of us and people being able to keep up with the Gamecocks. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mike. Mike Parris, the voice of the Jacksonville State Gamecocks.